After having a pretty eventful day one, we slept in until about 10 or 11 in the morning as the jet lag finally hit us. Amusingly enough, our hostel room had 12 bunk beds, and by the time we woke up, pretty much everyone else was still asleep. I think a lot of our hostel mates didn't even get to bed until 3 or 4 in the morning. Again, we didn't really have a plan for the day. I was most interested in trying famous Dutch foods in various restaurants I heard about during my very basic research, and one such place was where we decided to go get breakfast, but not before taking a lot of artsy shots of cobblestone and canals and bicycles and all of the stuff that makes Amsterdam a pretty neat place. Our breakfast stop was De Carousel, which is a restaurant built inside an old merry-go-round, where lights adorn the ceiling and some of the pieces of the original carousel make up most of the decor. Their menu is predominantly pancakes with a multitude of toppings, many of which are sweet, such as banana, Nutella, and whipped cream, as well as pancakes that sounded more like an omelet, like ham, cheese, and mushrooms. They also have poffertjes, which I regret not getting as they were on my to-eat list and are pretty much just tiny pancakes. They also serve waffles and burgers here. Alan went with the mixed fruit pancake, while I went with apple and cinnamon. I'm not sure if maple syrup is a thing in Europe, but our table did have a bottle of Skenstroop, and I slathered my pancake in it. To me, it has a bit of a molasses-like taste to it, but it was fine. I'd still take it over that fake pancake swill they mass-produce back home in the States. Life is too short for fake maple syrup, am I right? Once we were significantly sugared up, we headed to the Bloemenmarkt, or the floating flower market. Founded in 1862, Bloemenmarkt is a beautiful and touristy flower market floating on the Shingle Canal in central Amsterdam. During the 19th century, when the market was first built, hundreds of boats full of flowers and plants would sail to the Bloemenmarkt to sell their goods. Nowadays, it is practically impossible to tell that this covered market sits on the waterway, since the various stands are placed on platforms and large barges that are safely attached to the edge of the canal. I never venture into flower shops or garden centers back home, but the fact that you can buy giant bulbs like this flower here is pretty cool. Aside from plants, you can get all sorts of tourist knickknacks. We also spent a couple minutes in a cheese store. I think Alan's main motivation to wanting to go here was to snap a photo with this lady running the register. Once we were done with the flower market, we headed in the direction of Adam Lookout and witnessed what we assume will be the next TikTok trend, or perhaps the song of the summer? I don't know. What I do know is that Alan got his picture taken with a different group of ladies so he can finally fulfill his dream of being a cowgirl. Seemed like the ideal opportunity to get a cookie and a cider to celebrate. While in the area, we booked a canal tour, which goes through a lot of the canals that make up the center of Amsterdam and teaches you the history of the area. You'll also get to pass by a lot of houseboats. We didn't book a tour for any particular reason other than to get us off of our feet for about an hour, and you can't really go to Amsterdam without doing a canal tour at some point. Once the tour was done, we decided to go to the top of the Adam Lookout Tower, which provides panoramic views of Amsterdam, but not without going through this techno rave party in the elevator, which travels 100 meters from the ground level to the top.
Yeah! Woo, woo.
To no one's surprise, it was very windy at the top, but the views were fantastic. Especially the views of us, am I right, ladies? And while we were here, why not go for a swing and have our feet dangle off the side of the tower? It does appear to be a bit daunting, but as long as you avoid looking down, it turned out not to be too bad. Unfortunately, you have to place your belongings in a box at the base of the swing, so we weren't able to get any footage of us actually on the swing without coughing up about 15 euros to get it. However, Alan did splurge for some pictures and videos of us in front of a green screen, so there's that. After the swing, it was time to go back down the techno rave elevator so we could get some food.
Don't forget to check out your photos and the exits will be in live.
Once back in the Canal District, we went to an Italian restaurant. Alan was craving spaghetti all day, and I was drawn towards the lasagna. Again, not foods that were on my Dutch cuisine list, but what savage turns down lasagna, you know? We capped off the night by heading to Dam Square, which is a huge public space which has the Royal Palace and a monument to Dutch soldiers in World War II. Unfortunately, we couldn't do too much here, as the way we came in was barricaded off from the square. It also happened to be Remembrance Day on the day we visited, May 4th, which is a Dutch holiday to acknowledge and honor the sacrifices of those who died in conflict and to reflect on the importance of peace. We will see if we can explore the sights of Dam Square after our excursion tomorrow, May 5th. But May 5th is also a holiday in the Netherlands, this one being called Liberation Day, which commemorates the liberation of the Netherlands from Nazi occupation during World War II. Stay tuned to see if we succeed. And that concludes our second day in Amsterdam proper. Tomorrow we head out of the city to look at windmills and tulips.